Hi, welcome back to Backstage Chatter. You know who I am, your host, Jackie Hardy. In this segment of Backstage Chatter, we got the delightful privilege of speaking with director Kris Black Jasper and stage actor Gabriel D. Hill. They both speak with us about their individual roles in the current Jubilee Theatre production of Home. Home was written by playwright Samm-Art Williams, and it is the first production of the impressive launch of the Jubilee Theater's 44th season. How cool is that? It is also a part of the season titled Rooted, which is a series that celebrates the resilience, the culture, and experiences of the African American community. We know you're going to enjoy this great conversation with Ms. Jasper and Mr. Hill as they talk about their overall wonderful experiences and being a part of this beautiful masterpiece. You can see Home from now until October 27th at the Jubilee Theater. For ticket information, head over to jubileetheater.org or you can contact the box office at 817 338 4411. Thanks for watching. Yes, so welcome both you, Mr. Hill, Ms. Jasper, to we have this backstage chatter segment that we do where we get to highlight amazing, talented creatives like yourself. And so thank y'all for being a part of our backstage chatter segment of NDG Live.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
Yeah, thank you,
Wow.
thank you, thank
We're honored to have you all. Yeah, and so if before we kind of get started to get deep into the production of the Samm-Art Williams play Home, I did want to talk to or ask if you guys would just share with our audience or viewers kind of a little bit about your title and role in this production. Yeah, and so anybody that wants to kind of jump in, go right ahead.
I'm Kris Black Jasper, and I am the director of Home.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. And Mr.
you.
Gabriel.
Hello, my name is Gabriel D. Hill, and I play Cephas Smiles in Home.
Okay. Yeah. And Ms. Jasper, starting out with you, not often do I get to interview the directors, right, of the production. Yeah. So it's always an honor when I get to do that. And so because of that, I just had a question for you. I know you guys wear a lot of hats, right, as the director, because you're involved from conception to execution of the production. And so can you kind of share with our audience what is one of the hats that we might be surprised that you wear as the director of the of the production? Yeah, because you I know wear a lot. But is there
Yes,
one? Yeah.
I absolutely got to wear a lot of hats. Thankfully, I would probably say the best hat that I wore was delegator.
I love that.
That was the best hat that I wore. So
Right.
just
Yes.
trusting my scenic design people, my builders, our actors. It's literally me saying, this is what I see, this is what I need, and they literally execute all of those things. So yeah, delegator will probably be the
Yeah.
head I loved.
No, I love that because it takes a team. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, that's great. And something to I could learn from, right? 'Cause- Yeah, yeah. But no, and then just Gabriel, if you don't mind, because yes, you play Cephas Miles, right? The main character of a home of this production. And could you kind of give our audience just a quick synopsis of what kind of this production is about? Yeah.
Yeah, so for Cephas Smiles, or the play of Home, it follows Cephas Smiles, who was a farmer in the South, and he basically works the land. He has a land that is given from his uncle and uncle and grandfather who sadly passed away. And with that, he has dealt with challenges with trying to keep the land together on his own. He can't really do that, and then having people who are like people in his family or his life pass away. So there's like all these things are happening down south. So his only option is feeling that a better life for him is to move up north. So
Mm.
he moves up north to find a better life, but through moving up north comes challenges. So he believes that North is like the way of like finding his new grounds of home and life, but this is not the case. He deals with drug abuse, he deals with
No.
substance abuse, and then deals with trying to find a new lover, which he had his real love from
Yeah.
back at South, but she moved. He finds a new love, but she didn't work out. So it's just a lot about him trying to find his grounds in this new way of life. But in the end, he finds out that through all that, his real home is where it all started, which is down
Wow.
south.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole journey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that and something we all can identify with, right? Yeah, absolutely. Because there's an evolution of discovering where, where who we really are, yeah, and where we find, yeah, our belonging. And with that, I know, there's a vulnerability to this character, right? Cephas, and it's kind of on full display. And can you kind of speak to that, Gabriel, the importance of showing that? As an African American, sometimes we don't, that's not shown much,
Yes.
that vulnerable side of who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so can you kind of speak to the importance of that, and especially in an African American man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I feel that is very important because for African American men, like usually we're taught that, you got to stay tough, you got to not cry, don't show your emotions, you got to hold back. And I've seen that time and time again throughout my family, and then other people, they've experienced that as well. Like they feel like they have to put on this tough act to be like a macho man. But
Yeah.
this play, what Lisa teaches me and hopefully other African American males, that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to cry, it's okay to let go and not hold that emotion, because holding those emotions, it doesn't do you well.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's best for us just to like release it and to not hold back because yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Miss Jasper, do you have some certainly thoughts on that, even just from a director standpoint, calling that out? Yeah, and how important that is.
I think it was very important for Cephas to be transparent about his journey, in all aspects of it. And Gabriel does a great job of showing those elements of emotion as Cephas goes out throughout the play. He's very happy, he's content, then he's challenged, um, and he's hurt, and he's disappointed,
Yeah.
and he's frustrated, and um,
Mm.
he's lonely.
Human. Yeah.
He's desperate. He has all of these emotions that he goes through. And all of that is just to find home.
Mm.
That is defined for a lot of people different ways. Um, and home, yes, is where you make it.
Yeah.
It's also a place that calls you to it.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was for Cephas in this journey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think equally that is something we need to see more of, yeah. Because in this social media world, we sometimes don't feel that we can be transparent. So I love that journey that they invite us on. Yeah, and I know most people, if you're human, you're going to relate in some form or fashion. So I like that. And is there a process? And either one of you, please jump in and speak to this, that you kind of go through to get to that place of vulnerability. Yeah, because there's a lot of emotion that you're drawing from. I know Gabriel as the actor, yeah, and then as the director, that is for the sacredness of the part you want to make sure is being conveyed on the stage. So, is there a certain process that you follow to kind of get to that place?
I'm gonna leave Gabriel to answer this one because
Okay.
he's a great what I have observed. He is a good method actor. Like he
Mm,
dives into his characters. So I'm gonna let him speak to the process that he
yeah.
does.
So what usually helps me is, of course, music.
Okay.
Music is a big factor to really helping me get into the mind space of the character. I love listening to music that takes place within the era, whether it's 60s or 70s. I don't like to listen to modern music. It's whatever music that character listens to, I listen to that music specifically. I
Oh,
also like to ground myself with the set. I like to touch the set. It sounds weird, but I like to touch the set and like touch like the fake grass on the ground. It helps me feel like I'm in that world so that when I enter that world, when I finally enter on stage, I'm not Gabriel Hill, I'm Cephas Miles. I'm already familiar with my surroundings because each piece, each set on like the stage has a backstory to it. The stage itself, you know, like whether I remember I was sitting on like the porch with my grandfather and he was like cooking up some chicken and I had like a piece of chicken with him, or I was sitting on the rocking chair and I remember well, at least watching my uncle telling his stories. That's where I learned my stories. That's Cephas Miles, like his storytelling, the way he's expressive. So what really helps me to really get back to the main question, really helps me to really get in that mind space is just understanding the context of like the
Good.
story and understanding just what he's really going through as far as like losing everything, losing his grandfather, his uncle, losing his dog, his horse, losing his southern sweetheart, and then
Right.
having everything taken away from him once he goes up north, or like going to jail, going to prison. So all that festers up into Cephas Miles, which leads to that climax of when he's in the jail scene, he just releases it.
Wow.
And that's just something that helps me really just to get in character, just the whole process, understanding the journey, his
Yeah.
beginning, his middle, and his end.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that is truly method acting right there. Yeah, you embody the spirit of your character. No, that's got to be cool to watch as a director, I'm sure too, Ms. Jasser. Yeah.
It's very cool. It's very cool just to see him dive into the character and have an understanding. I spoke with the actors all about character development, and anyone who's in the acting world, they know all about that. Um,
Yeah.
Finding in your mind, like it may not necessarily be in the script as to what day they were born or who their friends are or the foods they like to eat. And so in that character development, they get to come up with the backstory of that particular character that they're playing.
Okay.
It makes it more real. It makes it more relevant because of their own personal experiences that they can pull from. They can pull it from, relatives that they have or have gone on. So it's a great process to have, and Gabriel, all of the actors actually of this cast, they do a great job of manifesting those characters.
Wow.
And between the women, um, Kyra McNeil, who plays woman two, and then Ashley Anderson, who plays woman one, and Patty Mae Wells, between the two of them, they have about almost 40 characters to play between just the two of them.
Wow.
And so they
Yeah.
play men, they play women, they play young girls, they play young boys. Uh,
Man.
so they have quite a an arc for themselves. They're great storytellers in their own right because they're different people at different times in Cephas's life.
Yeah.
So and they all embody that. They find ways in their bodies, in their facial expressions, in their tones, in their accents. So it's been an absolute
Wow.
blessing with this cast. They're great.
Wow. No, that's incredible. I mean, that's like masterclass that level right there. Seriously. Yeah. And it is a one act play, right? So, you know, I'm just thinking because of course I'm nowhere close to being an actor or director, but is that harder? Just from the physical and mental stamina, not having kind of that, that second act where you get that little intermission to kind of, yeah, regroup, or it's just, no difference for y'all.
Well, I guess I can say that part. As
Okay.
Gabriel laughs at me. We did make it a two-parter.
Oh, you did.
We
Okay.
did.
Oh,
We
that's
did.
good.
I
Yeah.
did that for the sake of Cephas not being able to refresh. He
Right.
does a lot of
Because it's
talking.
90 minutes, right?
Yeah. So he does
Yeah.
a lot of talking, and there's a monologue in there, a
That's
lot of monologues that he has in there.
okay.
And there's not moments where he gets to refresh. And I wanted to make sure
Good.
because of the storytelling in it,
Yeah.
and his character has to be so animated and so compelling to an audience. It takes a lot out of you. And because of the actor that he is, he's going to give you 110
Yeah.
every time.
No,
Uh, and so I wanted him to have a moment to kind of regroup, refresh, um,
that's
and
good.
come back out and kill it. And so we did go ahead and create that intermission.
That's
It's short,
good.
but we made it one for that sake. But normally there is no intermission in this
Oh,
show.
okay.
Um, but we made it one.
Yeah, I'm sure you appreciate that. Gabriel, yeah.
Oh, I do. I did 100%. I was
I'm
so
very
happy when Kris came to me. She said, yeah, I was thinking of doing an intermission, because I understand. I was like,
You're
yes.
like,
I'm like,
yes.
thank you. I was
We
so
don't
happy.
we don't need to delegate that one, right?
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Shoot.
I heard that. Yeah, and it is a period kind of because you mentioned that, it's kind of from the 50s through the 70s, I believe, like kind of like that time period. And I just would love to hear from both of y'all and with respect to, I mean, because it was a volatile time. You had the Vietnam War, and I know Cephas, he because of his own beliefs, this did not want to fight in that war, right? And when he was being drafted, as well as heartbreak, loss of family. There was so many different things. And then, racially, segregation was big during that time because you have the civil rights movement. So can y'all kind of speak to that part of history, how in some ways it might even still mirror where we are today, on those fronts, politically, racially, yeah, and even socially, yeah.
I'm going to say so. Yes, it does span quite a bit of time
Right.
in this play. And yes, there are a lot of things that have changed in this play. Some have not in our current climate.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was important for us which Samm-Art Williams totally did. He made sure to be honest about those times,
Mm,
and also gave directors creative license, if you will, to make it to the times that director is actually in.
mm.
So there are things that we do in the play to depict certain moments in time.
Okay.
Um, and I won't spoil it for the people who are watching. You have to
Right. They
just
got to
come
come
see
and
it.
what and
You got
see.
to come and see it. It's
That's it.
amazing. But we try to make sure that we're honest about those times. There's a scene where he talks about um, colored restrooms,
Mm,
and coming back down south.
mm,
Um, he discovers that there's moments that things have changed, but
yeah.
he was away in this space where he felt he was alone, not even felt he was alone.
Mm,
And so to come back into home, if you will, and see how things have changed so much, it does speak to our times. Yes,
mm,
things have changed, but things also have not changed.
right.
Things have not changed, but evolved into something else, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Right.
Um, but it's honest about a journey.
Hmm.
And that's what I like about this play. It's honest about a journey. And it's a journey that I think we all
Yeah.
have been on ourselves, or we are very close with people who've been on journeys, trying to find their footing, trying to find peace,
Sure.
trying to find a place to fit in. And Cephas's journey is very much like that. I'm here, but I think I should be somewhere else because that affirms me if
Yeah.
I go somewhere else. Only to discover
That's
that where he was already affirmed.
wow. Yeah, that's powerful. I love that. Yeah. No. And sometimes it takes us leaving to come to understand and appreciate that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's music, right? In this production. Yeah, and I know like Negro spirituals, the gospel music. And so can you kind of share certainly how that also is critical to the telling of Cephas' story? Yeah, the music.
The music itself it's a quiet note, if you
Okay.
will.
Okay.
Um, because the storytelling itself is what pulls an audience in. And so the music behind it is just an icing
Subtlety.
on the cake. It's very subtle.
Okay,
It's the
sure.
cherry on the top. Um, it's a thing that just satisfies the sweet tooth, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah.
so, we have the ladies who sing at the very top of the show
Okay.
in that great getting up morning. And then they also sing it again later on in the show, but it's a song that people are familiar with,
Yeah.
and they sing it really well, of course.
Yeah,
And so it just keeps that audience engaged in these moments. And
sure.
kind of helps them have an understanding of, wait, I know that song.
Yeah.
This actually was a town that I knew or I grew up in, or hey, they sang that at my church when, when I used to go with my grandparents or something like that. So it keeps the audience engaged. It keeps the show relevant to an audience, whether they're young or more mature. Um, because we have young actors, but we're using old music.
Yeah.
Um, and we do a lot of little bits of jazz and just in the background. It's very subtle. It's very
Yeah.
subtle. Nina Simone, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
She
Yeah.
has a little moment in there when Cephas and Patty are having discussions. Um, Again, I can't tell everything. Y'all got to
That's
come see.
right. That's it.
But
Little
yeah,
teasers.
exactly. So we use just a little bit just to enhance the moment,
Yeah.
but never to take away from the great work that these actors are doing.
Yeah, the backdrop to kind of the times that they were in. I'm sure there's a nostalgia because you said, Gabriel, you grew up listening to. So, yeah, does it kind of give you that nostalgic vibe as well?
Yes. I love soul music so much.
Me too.
I grew up with it. My dad played it all the time. It's like a rite of passage. Like it started with my grandfather, then of course my dad listened to it, and
Okay.
I dabble into it now. So I love soul music.
Yeah.
That King Cole,
Oh
everything. So
yeah, that's awesome. No, those are the greats. That is so cool. Yeah, and how it beautifully kind of interweaves into the story. I love that. Yeah, and I read, when I was just kind of doing a little research, where Washington Post, I think, deemed this particular play as a road trip of the soul. And I thought that was a great characterization of this play. And I would just love to end on, why do you think this place still resonates with audience goers? Again, we're in such a divisive culture and everybody wants to belong, right? And so can y'all kind of just share that with our viewers on why this play, still resonates today, with all that we have going on? Yeah, and
Go
any,
for it, Gabriel.
yeah.
I believe it teaches people a lot about togetherness. In my
Mm,
opinion, like there's as African Americans, we're all divided into different respective areas.
yeah.
And that's the saddening thing about it. It's saddening that the play itself, like during those times where we're the most united, was when we
Mm,
were dealing with oppression, segregation,
wow.
struggle. And I find it sad that like now we're in that kind of time where everybody has their own different things, whether we're divided politically or,
Yeah,
you know, socioeconomically, all those
right.
different facets. But this play just kind of reminds us that no matter what area you're from, whether you're from the north or the south or the east or the west,
Hmm.
we're
Yeah.
all still family. We're all
Mm,
family. We all came together from the same ship. We all should stay together,
yeah.
whether like no matter what people say about us, whether it's online, social media, or what political people say about us, like all we have is each other, and that's all we got. It's like we're one big family. So that play kind of teaches us that, to remind us of that.
Good.
Like
Yeah.
our home is together. So
Amen.
that's my interpretation of home. It's just being together, being
Amen.
one big family.
Yeah, we need a lot of that. That's great. Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing else, you leave inspired to kind of to what you said, going back to our roots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's struggle and celebrate together. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, did you
Absolutely.
have any final words, Miss Jasper, on that?
I definitely agree with what Gabriel is saying. I definitely think it is a relevant piece of work from Samm-Art Williams. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And I think what these actors bring to the table, it makes it relevant. I can sit in the audience and watch people laugh
Mm,
and cry and be on the edge of their seats watching
yeah,
and seeing themselves in these stories,
right.
or people that they know in these stories. Um, it's relevant.
Yeah.
It's necessary, especially again, still in these current times. Yes, we're not necessarily being drafted, but there's other things
Right.
that Black men are saying no to, are wanting to say no to,
Yeah.
and they are being punished for it.
Yeah.
And their freedom is being taken away from them. And, they're still having these moments of relationships.
Yeah.
So what is that for me?
Right.
How is that for me? What should it be for me?
Yeah.
And much like Cephas, home.
Yeah.
You
That's
find all of that at
home.
home.
That's right.
And I think that journey that he takes the audiences on, will give them that sense of, or at least make them think
Right.
about the journey that they've been on
Mhm.
or are on,
Yeah.
um, and realize,
Yeah.
maybe everything that I was needing anyway
That's
was
it.
always where it was,
That's
home.
it. That's
So, yeah.
good. That's right. I love that. No, I really appreciate you guys taking the time today to share, yeah, and answer these questions. And I'm excited about, just uh, how well this will be received. I have no doubt. Yeah, in our fair city. And so, yeah, it's a treat, and we need to make sure we're there to support it. So thank y'all so,
Yes.
so much.
Thank you for having us. We
Oh, it's
appreciate
Thank
it.
my
you.
pleasure. I wish y'all all the best.
Thank you.
Take
Thank you so much.
care.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, well, we hope after you watched this interview, it got you excited about wanting to go see this beautiful masterpiece and Jubilee Theater production of Home. You can go to jubileetheater.org for ticket information, or you can contact the Jubilee Theater box office at 817-338-4411. We are all in search of home, and so this beautiful masterpiece is just a way of helping remind us that home is not too far from our reach. So get your tickets, join us at the theater, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.